Welcome. This week, we explore Bosnia and Herzegovina's efforts to strengthen its financial links with Europe and what this means for the region's economy. We also look at the Balkans' global connections through its diaspora in Australia and the ties that continue to unite communities across borders. I'm Nadia Muftic, and this is Across the Balkans. Bosnia and Herzegovina is seeking closer integration with Europe's financial system. The country wants to join the single euro payments area, which could make euro transfers faster and cheaper for businesses and citizens. But political divisions are putting that ambition at risk. And as Bosnia looks to deepen its financial ties with Europe, it is also facing renewed scrutiny over weaknesses in its fight against money laundering.
Bosnia and Herzegovina's currency, the convertible mark, has been pegged to the euro since 2002. The fixed exchange rate stands at €1 to 1.95 convertible marks. Although Bosnia is an official EU candidate country, it has not yet adopted the euro and remains outside the euro area. However, its financial ties with the bloc could deepen if it joins SEPA, the single euro payments area. SEPA is intended to make euro payments across participating countries faster, cheaper, and more standardized. For Bosnia, joining would streamline cross-border transfers for local businesses and families abroad. Yet Bosnia's path towards closer European integration remains fraught with political hurdles. The European Commission has repeatedly highlighted political polarization and institutional gridlock as major barriers to reform. Now the country faces a fresh blow to its international financial standing. On June 19th, the Financial Action Task Force placed Bosnia and Herzegovina back under increased monitoring, a status commonly known as the FATF grey list. The FATF acknowledged Bosnia's progress in strengthening its anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing rules. However, it pointed to strategic deficiencies that Sarajevo has now committed to addressing. A grey listing does not isolate Bosnia from the global banking system. However, it subjects its financial transactions to heightened international scrutiny. That places Bosnia's European integration ambitions under renewed focus. While the country pushes for deeper economic ties, international monitors and the EU are demanding uncompromising standards on the rule of law and financial integrity. For Bosnia and Herzegovina, joining Europe's financial grid will require more than technical upgrades to its banking software. It necessitates political consensus and the establishment of robust institutions. The convertible mark has anchored Bosnia to the euro for over 2 decades. The question now is whether the country can build the credibility required to fully align with Europe's financial future.
Joining us today is economist Admir Cavalic, a member of the Federation Parliament of Bosnia and Herzegovina. We will talk about why Bosnia and Herzegovina is still outside the SEPA payment system. Mr. Cavalic, welcome to Across the Balkans. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
The Central Bank of Bosnia and Herzegovina has welcomed the adoption of a package of financial laws in both entities. It says all regulatory requirements have now been met for the country to submit its formal application to join the single euro payments area SEPA. How significant is this step and what does this mean for Bosnia and Herzegovina?
This is really a big step forward when it comes to financial inclusion of Bosnia and Herzegovina to the rest of Europe. Why? Because the Bosnia and Herzegovina was the only country outside SEPA. All the countries from Western Balkan regions, including neighboring Serbia, Montenegro, Albania, and so on, they were members. Now, so we had problems on the entity levels. Now these problems are solved. with the federal parliament. And now Central Bank of Bosnia and Herzegovina needs to send the formal application. They sent a draft of application in December last year. Now they need to send a formal application to European Payments Council, and that's a part of European Commission. And after that, we are waiting for the final decision.
As you said, across the Balkans, countries like Serbia, Montenegro, Albania, and North Macedonia, even though they are not EU members, have joined SEPA. Why are Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I think Kosovo is still not also, why they are outside the system? And what was the reason which held Bosnia back for this long time?
It was strictly administrative technical problems. You know that Bosnia and Herzegovina is a highly decentralized country, meaning that it's really complex to make any kind of political and economical decisions, because the power sharing, it's a big thing in Bosnia and Herzegovina, meaning that you need different levels of government to cooperate together. So central bank was truly doing her job as central bank should do. But the problem was on the entity levels, entity of Republic of Srpska and entity of Federation Bosnia and Herzegovina. There you needed to change certain financial laws, which include new financial technologies, fintech, which include more financial inclusions on domestic markets, and of course introducing not only new technologies but also new financial models, which were foreign for Bosnia and Herzegovina financial system. After doing that, there is no formal requirements that we have not met yet. Now, formally, central bank only needs to deliver the application, and of course, European Commission can object on that application, but definitely we can expect that Bosnia and Herzegovina will enter SEPA this year and start with implementation of SEPA on next year.
As I follow the situation in Bosnia, I know that you was the one who was pushed this idea of joining Bosnia and Herzegovina to SEPA. Who was against you?
I think that no one was against me, but the lack of political will, as we say in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I'm a chairman of Board for Economical Affairs, and throughout our board, we were pushing hard and lobbying to have SEPA on the agenda. Unfortunately, Bosnia and Herzegovina currently is an election year, and in election year, sometimes it's really hard to pass some laws. And also, there was one major problem. So, when the entities laws were brought in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, unfortunately, there were some strange, in some sense, amendments relating that some persons who are on blacklisted by United States of America could have their salaries throughout post office. I think that was a not good call to include that in our reforms, which are demanded for SEPA, but unfortunately these reforms passed. So I think these kinds of amendments actually slowed the process of SEPA integration. So we can have one person, one politically exposed person who is currently on American blacklist, be able to receive his salary throughout post office, not throughout conventional banking system.
Bosnia and Herzegovina has once again been placed on the grey list for international standards on money laundering and terrorist financing. How does this affect trust in the country's financial system and its path towards European financial integration?
Unfortunately, this was a result of lack of consensus on the state level, not entities level, like in SEPA case. So the state level had problems with certain laws. Of course, there was also one problem of having a register of owners, real owners in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Apparently, some lobby groups don't want to have that register to know who owns some companies, and we fell on that gray list, Moneywell gray list. When you compare SEPA with all the positive, benefits for the citizens, investors, for businesses, and the other hand, you compare the gray list of Moneywell, it's semi-equal situation, because we are going to win something and At the same time, this year we're going to lose something. Our transactions will be more costly, and investors will have more fear investing in Bosnia and Herzegovina because we are on the gray list. Good thing about the gray list, if you can call it a good thing, is that we can go fast from out of the gray list. Currently, Bulgaria is member of SEPA. They're also on the gray list. Croatia was before the gray list, and so on. It's more paperwork regarding financing terrorism, money laundering, and so on. It's connected with SEPA. I hope that will not interrupt our call on SEPA. So when the European Payments Council and European Commissions made decision, I hope that we are being on a grey list will not affect the final decision.
Has the adoption of these financial laws removed the main obstacles to SEPA membership, or will Bosnia and Herzegovina political complexity and the lack of coordination between different levels of government continue to pose challenge?
That's really a good question. So legally, there are no obstacles, but the problem is SEPA is a process. It's not a done deal when you just change the laws. You need to implement the laws. Of course, the main responsibility now is not on the parliaments, it's on the central bank, which needs to do lots of concrete action work with the financial sector, with banks, so they can adopt and implement SEPA. So it's ongoing process, which includes, technical improvements, technology improvements, banking, financial improvements, and so on. Of course, there's a slight possibility that some levels of governments will try to interfere with that, will try to block that, and so on. But when it comes to legal solutions, I think that things are done. Now we need to focus to implement that process a bit faster. Based on experience on Serbia and other countries in the region, it was a quite slow process because the banks were not ready for SEPA.
How does staying outside SEPA affect Bosnia and Herzegovina business climate? Could it make the country less attractive for foreign investors compared to other economies in the region?
Of course, because our biggest advantage is actually big border with the EU. So if you're planning to do offshore to move production in Bosnia and Herzegovina so you can sell export to European countries, of course, not being member of SEPA was a big obstacle. And we hope now when we enter SEPA or get the green light for the SEPA that some foreign investors or even domestic investors will think again when investing in Bosnia and Herzegovina in a positive sense. Why? Because costs of doing business, especially doing foreign exporting business to European countries and the region, and it's more than 80% of import-export activities, will get really cheap compared to the current state. So that's a big advantage, and entire country is hoping to gain benefits from it.
Mr. Cavalic, we mentioned on the beginning of this interview that many other Western Balkan countries joined SEPA before, like Croatia, Montenegro, Albania, etc. And they was joined like 2004, 2005. Now in 2024, 2025. Now in 2026, Bosnia still didn't join SEPA. Can you tell me like how much money Bosnia lost until now because it's not a part of SEPA?
There are some rough estimates. Some people, experts, are speaking about 100,000 million, 100 million euros of our cost, especially when it comes to main feature of Bosnia and Herzegovina. When you compare us to all those countries, we have relatively the biggest diaspora. So lots of diaspora, Bosnian diaspora, they're sending their money from European countries to Bosnia and Herzegovina. And just to give you really clear evidence why SEPA is good, so if you send 1,000 euros, you can get two digits, of euros of costs, 10, 20, 30 euros of cost. SEPA would immediately, if implemented correctly, remove those barriers, those costs to 1 to 5 euros, only one digit. So it's really a concrete measure that saves money to the citizens, of course, to the businesses, and especially to potential investors and entire government, the country as such. So it's we in economics we call it, it was a really stupid cost that we were paying all these years compared to other countries of the region.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cavalic, for being our guest in Across the Balkans. Australia is about 16,000 kilometers from the Balkans. Yet more than 1 million Australians trace their roots to the region. Many arrived in two major waves. First, in the 1960s and 70s, escaping the economic and political pressures of the former Yugoslavia, and later in the 1990s during and after the Bosnian War. But regardless of when they arrived, generations have maintained a strong connection to their heritage, preserving their language, culture and traditions. Kristina Šimić reports.
The Balkans has long been known for its resilient people and the pride they have in where they come from. And Australia's Balkan diaspora is no different, despite being so far away. 39-year-old Mirsada Helac was born in Srebrenica in Bosnia and Herzegovina. She was just 8 years old when the Srebrenica genocide happened in 1995. For 2 years, she was displaced within Bosnia before fleeing to Croatia. There she waited on a humanitarian visa that would take her nearly 16,000 kilometres away to Sydney, Australia.
Where I found safety and opportunity to rebuild my life and have my children now growing up.
Since arriving in Australia, Mirsada has been raising awareness of her experience living in war through annual commemorations.
3 generations have been wiped out.
She also wrote a book called Through the Eyes of an Innocent Child.
If he was a part of everyday life, the shelling, the hunger, the burden that my mum carried in having to protect us and feed us all on her own.
Australia is home to more than 1 million strong Balkan diaspora. Thousands arrived as humanitarian migrants in the early 1990s, fleeing the fallout that followed the breakup of what was then Yugoslavia, which included the Croatian War of Independence, the Siege of Sarajevo, and the Srebrenica genocide.
Srebrenica, as an example, my hometown, it was known for its beautiful landscape, its natural beauty. It's just heartbreaking nowadays, look at it, and the fact that all those positive things are overshadowed by that chapter.
An earlier wave arrived during the 1960s and 70s. Sava Lukic, or Baba, was born in Mrkonjić Grad in Bosnia and Herzegovina and migrated to Sydney, Australia with her late husband in 1969.
It was very hard. I did cry a lot in an aeroplane, to be honest with you, yes, I did. But coming with my husband, of course, been married 6 months only.
We were brought up very Australian, but also with a lot of Balkan tendencies and tradition. I did the folkloric dancing, which was our Serbian dancing, going to our celebrations, whether it be Christmas and Easter or even a Slava. It's nice to have these traditions.
Now together, Lepa and Baba are ensuring that those Balkan traditions are never lost by sharing them not only with the next generation, but all of Australia too.
Basically, Mum's recipe, what she taught me growing up.
They teach people how to make burek or pita, flaky, savoury pastries loved across the region.
Balkans, Aussies, I've had Indians come, I've had
Greeks.
All sorts, yeah. They cry because they're just like, this just took me back to childhood days.
Kristina Zlandic, who was Miss Croatia in 2021, lives in Perth. Her late father, Joža Markušić, and her mother, Ankica, came from small villages in the Žumberak Mountains, west of Zagreb. Joža arrived in Perth in 1971 as a skilled migrant after working as a butcher and small goods producer at Zagreb's famed Dolac market. Ankica joined him 6 years later.
Being the firstborn child, I went to school only knowing Croatian. I didn't know any English. Having the butchering and small goods area, had played heavily influenced in our food. So lots of the different salamis and hrenovke and ševapi.
Since she was 8, Kristina has been dancing with Hrvatska folklorna grupa Zagreb, one of Australia's many Croatian folklore groups.
Going to the Croatian club was like normal for them, and Croatian dancing existed on Friday nights, and so we were signed up to do that.
In 2024, HFG Zagreb went on tour across Croatia to perform at festivals.
Starting off in Zagreb, ending in Split. In the middle, we were privileged and amazingly fortunate to go to the Đakovačke festival, which is a big festival where other dance groups worldwide.
Australia's 2021 census revealed Greek migrants make up the country's largest diaspora community with more than 520,000. They are followed by migrants from Croatia, Turkey, Serbia, North Macedonia and Hungary. Smaller communities include people from Romania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Albania and Bulgaria. Slovenia has less than 10,000 migrants, Montenegro fewer than 3,000 and Kosovo just over 1,000.
As diaspora, we have this special ability to love Australia, but also love where we come from. So I think those two loves, I don't think they compete with each other. I think they kind of complement, they strengthen one another.
From those who fled war and those preserving traditions highlights that the bond between Australia and the Balkans remains as strong as ever. Kristina Šimić, across the Balkans.
Now to North Macedonia, where creatives are rewriting the rules of global waste management. From painting and tailoring grime-stained truck tarpaulins into gallery art to making something new out of World Cup football jerseys. Adam Amunu has the story.
FIFA's 2026 World Cup might be over, but these football jerseys are finding an eco-friendly second life in this small factory run by the company Deepen in Štip, North Macedonia. And for this enterprise, it's no small feat.
Pa ako mi objasniš da postoji 20 milion komada tekstila što stane posle ta cijelo svjetsko prvenstvo, tek onda shvate ljudi koliko je ozbiljan problem što ima i da nudim mi neko rešenje za to. I mislim da su oni to dobro prihvatili do sada.
When a sponsorship changes or a new kit supplier is introduced, existing sports clothing is often discarded and typically destroyed. But a few years ago, Dutch upcycling brand FC88 began establishing contacts with clubs, proposing to collect these pieces to transform them into new products. They partnered with Deepen to bring this vision to life.
Jedna torbica, mala, ali može da se naprave veći proizvodi kao što su torbi. Sada ova torba se koriste 3 dresa, znači ovi su napravljeni dresovi. Za ova torbica nam treba, na primjer, 2 šorca. Ili za kačket koristimo 1 šorc. I na ova proizvod mi je mnogo lepo da se vide da gledamo da koristimo detalje što su njihovi. Znači ovo što je te 3 boje što se koristi u šorc se vrati nazad u kačket isto.
Deepen employs several people who produce more than 3,000 items a month, much of which is exported to the Netherlands.
Гледаме нормално дека сме горди, пошто сме единствени што го произведуваме во. Тука, мислам, јас не сум видела и други у Македонија да го произведуват. Мислам дека сме единствени и први.
In the capital Skopje, other creatives are taking up the mantle to invest in sustainability. Admir is a visual artist who salvages discarded truck tarpaulins to make sustainable art. In North Macedonia, they're generally considered industrial non-hazardous waste. However, in certain circumstances, they may be classified as hazardous if they're laced with toxic chemicals. By washing and treating the material, he transforms these into stylish bags and canvases.
Идејата доаѓа сосема спонтано некако. Постоеше една тенда која што сакаа да ја фрлат, а таа беше некако уметнички цела нашкртана. И дојдов до идеја зашто да го фрлат материјалот, кога може да се разработи, нели, и да ја дадам втор живот. Оваа камионска тенда. И има поминато илјадници километри, така да јас си додавам уште траги.
In recent years, several programs have popped up in the region to merge art and sustainability. These efforts fit neatly within North Macedonia's move towards a greener economy and its attempts to tackle significant problems like low recycling rates and inadequate waste separation. As North Macedonia works towards building a cleaner and greener society, artists are showing that waste doesn't have to be the end of the story, and that one man's trash can indeed be another man's treasure. Admir across the Balkans.
Thank you for watching Across the Balkans. You can follow our stories on social media and TRT World's YouTube channel. That is all from the team this week. I'm Nadia Muftic and hope to see you next time.